Today I'm just doing a quick video on I'm gonna do two things in this video actually, so it's two videos in one, so you'll see the thing. And what I wanted to show is how to properly make a egg laying kind of box for, I'd say this would be good for like one leopard gecko, or this can also be a cool hide. And people always ask me, you always show us, how to make like hides out of different things, but can you show us how to make a cheap cool hide? And I always say, if you own a leopard gecko or two or more, don't throw things away. Find a spot either underneath your bed or in a closet and just mark a box, leopard gecko accessories or whatever, and then you could always come back to it and say, hey, oh man, because it's like a time capsule. Every time I go back in there, I find stuff like I found Eco Earth, and I found a bunch of heat pads, and it's just like, it was like all these water dishes. I'm like, whoa, and containers. And anyways, this is one of them. I just cut a hole right in the top of it. All right, easy. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about perfection. It's just about getting the job done. And I got a mix of, this is vermiculite, but this vermiculite doesn't have any of the insecticide in it or any of that stuff. It's just 100% vermiculite and Eco Earth. Yeah, and that's how I use what I use for my cool hides or egg laying boxes. I do a mix of both, and you can just kind of feel it as long as this stays together, and you can compact it. It doesn't have to be soaked. I'll show you the final product because it gets pretty messy, but just give me a second. Okay, and this is the final product. Obviously I used the rest of the vermiculite, the Eco Earth, lid on top. And if you make too much of it, you could just pour some out into a bag and just think, but that seems a little high, but it's okay. I'll just pour some of it out. And this is good for one leopard gecko. If you wanted to, if you have like a real big breeding colony, like which would be your typical 1 male to 4 females or whatnot. Some people do 5 females. Some people only do 3 females. But that'll do. That's a little too much. So obviously I'll take some of it out. But let's see if any of my geckos approve of it. Okay, give me a second. Okay, and obviously this is a simple setup for a leopard gecko. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here's a mealworm dish, water dish. This is their the little egg laying box. Warm hide, heat pad underneath, and people always want to know, like, how do you do it, man? This is really how simple it is. It looks so corny. Now, I have her like this. Here's a heat pad underneath, by the way, because I want to have her. I didn't mix her with a bunch of females and whatnot. I actually want to monitor her because she has a tendency of laying eggs in weird places. So then she'll go and she'll check out her little box, and I'll see her later in it, and I'll take some photos of candy inside of her laying box. She's about to go shed. She's gonna be shedding soon. Look at Candy, she's so cute. I love her. Hey, little buddy. Look at, watch the way they are. They're back. Like cats. Should have called them cat geckos, but there is a cat gecko. She's so cute. I love her. But remember, this is the vermiculite and Eco Earth mix. You wanna make it a consistency of almost like if I compare it to you trying to build a sand castle. So I don't know if anybody who's ever done that. That's pretty much, you just kind of make sure you can, mold it into stuff, and that's perfect. I had to take some of it out, obviously it was too much, but when it's egg laying time, she'll go in there and she'll move that around. She can take up to a week to lay an egg. Just that she's not feeling it, and she'll come out, start scratching here, and go back in there. But usually once they get it where they're really happy with what they did, they'll lay the egg, and boom. The important thing is to always make sure that once you set your gecko up the first time, do it right the first time. This actually can work for not just for egg laying box, this could be your cool hide. This is a real simple setup. It's really simple. I always put my obviously warm hide. There's nothing underneath here. I made this. This used to have mashed potatoes in it, and I just cut a little hole in it, and just put it in there. Really that simple, guys. Heat pad underneath. I got a humid temperature controller, and it's really that simple. I'm sorry, but people make this so complicated, and I love helping people, but I help a lot of people, and they always say to me like, "Oh man, I know something wrong with my gecko." And usually it's temperature. It really is temperature, man. Try to get it to the closest you can to 90 degrees. That's all I have to say. And I was told that by a lot of wise leopard gecko breeders, 7, 8 years ago, and they kept telling me, just make sure it's temperature, and they would not stop telling me temperature is 90, 90, 90, and it's like that can't just be it. There's all of a sudden they get the temperature to 90 and their gecko is doing fantastic. Another thing is to make sure that this stays moist, so they can go in there and keep cool when they need to, and shed really clean. Make sure that they have plenty of clean water. I use Reptisafe obviously in my water. I use spring water or sometimes distilled water, but I still put the Reptibreeze in there because it also adds other minerals and stuff like that, and calcium. Not just taking all the metals out of the water, but that as well. And obviously here's a mini mealworm dish. Really that simple, and they love it. You can put 2 geckos here. This is big enough for 2 geckos, but she's obviously a big gecko, but you know what I mean, so I keep her by herself. But normally I would put a male in here and let him breed with her, and then I would take him out about 5 days later, mark it on the book when I put them together. When she lays her eggs, I put the male right back in there for another 5 days. It's just a system I was taught by other gecko breeders back in the days, and it's always worked. And my females consistently lay 10, 12 eggs, 14 eggs sometimes a year, in the summertime and stuff like that, springtime, summertime. Just one gecko, yeah. So yeah, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and let me see if I can grab. I said Nelly. Nelly is my daughter, but there's my little Candy. She's gonna be shedding soon. Hey, sweetie pie. Look at those eyes. I love her. They just make good pets. They make really good pets. This is a Mass 33. I'm out of here. Peace.